Hey guys, it's Angie. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing lovely and fantastic and enjoying your Wednesday, because Wednesday's a day to get excited about, right? I mean, you have so much stuff going on Wednesday. It's like the middle of the week. There's only 2 days left of the work week, unless you work on weekends, and that sucks. But yeah, Survivor's on. The Masked Singer is on. The World Series is on. I mean, if they go to Game 7. Pre-filming. Shh. Let's hope they go to Game 7. Let's hope the Nationals can pull it together. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, so I know it's been a while since I filmed a video, and I do have to apologize about that. I've been going through personal issues lately that have been preventing me from doing what I love to do, which is talk to you about books and about life and just have a good old ramble. Don't you guys miss some rambling times? I know I do. So, that being said, even if I do not post 3 videos a week going forward, which I'm still going to try to do, I am going to at least post 1 video, even if it's just a vlog saying, "What's up, world?" That way I am doing what I love, focusing on creating content for you guys and being more involved and talking to you guys, because I miss that a lot. But anyway, today I have a book haul, and this is an accumulation of books that I have checked out from the library, books that I have been sent by the publisher, books that I have purchased from the library bookstore or got from the little free library, and then a few books that I purchased at Kroger. So, yeah, I wasn't supposed to be buying books, but, you know, things happen, I guess, right? Que sera, sera. So let's just jump right in. We're going to go ahead and go with the books that I have checked out from the library currently. And the first book, you guys, I have no idea what it is, but I'm really drawn to the color blue. And I saw it sitting on the 14-day checkout table right when I go into my library, and I was like, ooh, shiny. So I picked it up, and it's called The Friend Zone. This is by this lady, Abby Jimenez. Ooh, Spanish did not stick with me well. We're following the story of a woman named Kristen and a guy named Josh. So Kristen has found out that she's going to have to go under a medical procedure that prevents her from having children. And when she's planning her best friend's wedding, she's kind of struggling with this. And the best man is Josh, and she starts to develop feelings for Josh. Everyone loves Josh, but the problem with Josh is he wants a massive family, and Kristen knows that she can't provide that. So this is the story. I don't know if I'm going to get to it yet. I mean, it's got a dog on the back cover, and his name is Stuntman Mike. So hopefully I can get to it and at least say I tried it. I've read the first chapter. Kristen seems like she is very outspoken and someone that I would really like in a female protagonist. So we shall see. We shall see where I go with this one. The next one I picked up is called Lost You. This is by Halen Beck. And it tells the story of a woman named Libby who has been working very hard for the past 3 years, ever since she had her son, Ethan. Her husband walked out on her shortly after Ethan was born, I think, and she really hasn't taken the time just for herself and some downtime. So she and Ethan decide to go on vacation. Now, she has this kind of uneasy feeling, and she might be right too. They get into the lobby, and Ethan runs ahead like little boys do. It gets on the elevator, and the elevator's doors close, and Ethan is gone. So they check the CCTV footage, and they see a woman that is leading Ethan out by the hand. And Libby feels a sinking in her gut, because the problem might not be what if Ethan is lost. The problem is, what if he was found? Sounds very intense, and I have started this one. I'm enjoying it so far. The next book I have to show you guys is a funny story, actually, because I was thinking about this author, and I read both of her books that follow a police detective, I think. I found them both very good. I enjoyed them a lot. And about 2 days before I went to the library, I was thinking, what is her name? I could not remember the author's name, and I didn't have it in my Goodreads because I set up a new Goodreads at the beginning of this year. However, I still have to go and input the majority of books that I read this year because me and Goodreads are like oil and water sometimes. Sometimes I love it and most of the time I ignore it. But anyway, I went into the library and I saw this book and I was like, that's the author. And this is the third book in the series. And that book is called The Stories You Tell by Kristen LaBianca. So this is the third book in the police detective. It doesn't say what she is, but she does something with the police. Her name is Roxanne Weary. And one night, her brother Andrew gets a visit from a former flame of his. Now she is very nervous and she asks to use his phone and then just abruptly leaves. Eventually this girl goes missing and everyone is looking at her brother. But Roxanne is determined to kind of help her brother out of the situation and prove what really happened. So she begins to look at the girl's digital footprint and try and investigate that. Meanwhile, across town, we also have some shady things going on at a nightclub where the girl worked. There was a cop murdered and the staff is going AWOL. So we have two storylines going on in here and I cannot wait to get to this one. I mean, it must be good because I was literally thinking about this author and I just kind of manifested this book into existence, I think. The penultimate book that I checked out from the library is called The House Swap. This is by Rebecca Fleet. And I don't remember much about it except they're going to be swapping houses. So let's have a read, shall we? It says, when Caroline and Francis receive an offer to house swap from their city apartment to a house in a leafy, upscale London suburb, they jump at the chance for a week away from home, their son, and the tensions that have pushed their marriage to the brink. So you're going to swap your house as well as leave your kid there. You get a kid. Congratulations. As the couple settles in, the old problems that permeate their marriage, his unhealthy behaviors, her indiscretions, start bubbling to the surface. But while they attempt to mend their relationship, their neighbor, an intense young woman, is showing a little too much interest in their activities. It's the suburbs. Come on, like, you know, the little bent down window blind. Meanwhile, Caroline slowly begins to uncover some signs of life in the Stark house. Signs of her life. The flowers in the bathroom or the music might appear innocent to anyone else, but to her they are clues. It seems the person they have swapped with is someone who knows her, someone who knows the secret she's desperate to forget, or someone that's a stalker. That's me, my guess. I knew it was coming. Alright, and then the last book that I checked out from the library, one of you guys actually recommended to me for a cozy mystery rec. Super excited, and I have started this one and I am enjoying it, and it is called A Murder for the Books. This is by Victoria Gilbert, and it is the first in a Blue Ridge Library mystery. So the story is following a woman named Amy who used to be a librarian at a university until something happened with that and she had to come back to a small town right on the foot of the Blue Ridge Mountains, where she kind of spent some time as a girl. She moved in with her aunt to kind of help her out and took a post as the town librarian. Along with Amy, however, there is a new person in town by the name of Richard, who is her next door neighbor, and he knows Amy from her college days and wants to do a little bit more digging on the town's backstory. A relative of his was accused of murder and he wants to prove that she was in fact innocent. While they're discovering all of this stuff, someone else ends up dead. So they are going to try and solve the whodunit while figuring out if Richard's relative really did commit murder in the past. So now we're going to be moving on to books that are not library books, books that I now own. And the first thing I have is actually from a blind date with a book swap that we did in the Facebook book club I'm a part of called We Be Bookin'. Links will be down in the description as always if you want to check it out. We are always doing so many fun activities over there and reading very, very eclectic taste of books. There's something for everyone, I promise. But the book that I received is called The Simple Wild by K.A. Tucker. I know nothing about it except that it is set in Alaska and someone is going to be a pilot. That's pretty much it. This was one of the reads that we did for the month of October, I believe. Every month there is approximately 2 to 3 reads that we read as a group. You don't have to if you don't want to. There are plenty of other activities to participate in. But so excited that I got this book because, I mean, it sounds intriguing. The cover sounds intriguing. And the word Alaska and pilot sounds intriguing. We're going to see. We shall see. The next 2 books I know nothing about. That's okay because I'm going to read them. And after I read them, I will let you guys know what I find out. But I am super excited because they are from Harper Via, which is dedicated to publishing international voices and offering readers a chance to encounter other lives and other points of view via the language of imagination. Doesn't that sound awesome? So I have these little cards that actually have the covers on them. And the first, I actually got these 2 books. I have It Would Be Night in Caracas by Karina Sanz-Borgo, as well as Lost in the Spanish Quarter by Heidi Goodrich. Aren't those stunning? They also have one called The German House by Annette Hess. And I think they have one more. Nope, that's it. Just 3 so far. I have to look and find out. But those covers are gorgeous. And the arts are really pretty too. They're just white and black, clean and simple. I love it. I love it. Yes. So It Would Be Night in Caracas comes out this month in October, and Lost in the Spanish Quarter actually came out in September. The next ARC I received was from St. Martin's Press, and it is called Golden in Death by J.D. Robb. This is the 50th book in the Eve Dallas series. And I know that I have read probably book 1. So I really hope that I don't have to read through the series. I know that there will be character growth and development, but hopefully I can read this as a standalone. This book comes out in February of next year. So if I can't read them as a standalone, I'm going to have a ton of reading to get done between now and then. Next from Scout Press is called The Tenant, and this is by Katrine Ingberg, and this is what the cover is going to look like. There we go. There we go. So I'm just going to read the description because this sounds freaking phenomenal, you guys. It says, when a young woman is discovered brutally murdered in her own apartment with an intricate pattern of lines carved into her face, Copenhagen police detectives Jeppe Corner and Annette Werner are assigned to the case. Oh, what are names? In short order, they establish a link between the victim, Julie Stender, and her landlady, Esther de Laurenti, who's a bit too fond of drink and the host of rapacious dinner parties with her artist friends. Esther also turns out to be a budding novelist, and when Julie turns up as a murder victim in the still unfinished mystery she's writing, the link between fiction and real life grows both more urgent and more dangerous. But Esther's role is not quite as clear as it first seems. Is she the culprit or just another victim trapped in a twisted game of vengeance? It sounds really intense, and it comes out in January of 2020. I think. Yep, January 14th. And then the last ARC that I received is also from St. Martin's Press, and it is called Big Lies in a Small Town by Diane Chamberlain. And they always send these amazing bookmarks. I mean, they look like this, but you can never have too many bookmarks. So this book follows dual timelines again. We're in North Carolina in 2018 and in 1940. And it says on the back, Strokes of Genius or Shades of Madness. Discover a story of beauty, friendship, betrayal, and a powerful connection that reaches across time and 2 women's lives. And I have heard fantastic things about Diane Chamberlain and cannot wait to read this book. This book also comes out January 14th of 2020. So I was taking some of my books to donate to the local library when I passed a few free little libraries along the way, and I decided to stock some up and picked out 2 books for myself. The first is called Cross Her Heart by Sarah Pinborough. I have heard good things about this, I believe, but it was a while back, so I cannot remember what it was, but this is a thriller. And the next one is a thriller as well, and it is called Sweet Little Lies by Kaz Freer. Now, it is good to know that someone in my corner of the world also has purchased books from Book of the Month. But I cannot wait to read them. Their unhaul is my haul. I am super, super excited. So now we're moving on to the books that I actually purchased from my library bookstore, and I got 6 books for $5, so I'm not complaining at all. But the first one, I had it already, and so I took my copy back up there and got this copy of The Mysterious Benedict Society. This is by Trenton Lee Stewart, and it says, Are you a gifted child looking for special opportunities? I believe this is middle grade and tells the adventure of a few children, and they enroll to take a series of mysterious mind-bending tests. So, that sounds great. And I also got the second book in that series called The Mysterious Benedict Society and the Perilous Journey. And these covers kind of went together, but my other cover for this one was a bright yellow, so I had to have it match. Next up, I have The Dream Daughter by Diane Chamberlain. This is my first Diane Chamberlain, and after I will read the arc that I received, but we're following a story of a woman named Carly Sears, who was widowed by the Vietnam War. She receives news that her unborn baby girl has a heart defect. It's 1970 and there's not a lot they can do. But her brother-in-law, who's a physicist, tells her that perhaps there's another way she can save her baby, but it will shatter every preconceived notion that Carly has. The next 2 books are both part of the same fantasy series that I heard Reagan over at Peruse Project talk up and hype, and the second book is her favorite of the year, I think. They were both there. I couldn't pass them up, but I'm going to be reading fantasy in December, and I have so many fantasy books that I really don't want to know much about what's going on in them. I just want to pick, like, kind of with the thriller book. I don't really want to know much. I just want to be able to reach and start reading. And the first book in this series is called A Winter's Promise by Christelle Dabos. This is the Mirror Visitor Book 1. Looks lovely. Another blue book. And the second book is just perfect to blend in with my walls. The Missing of Claire de Lune. Just look how they look together. Don't they look amazing, you guys? Like, I haven't had a really pretty book purchase in quite a while, okay? And then the last book that I got from my local library bookstore, I actually unhauled it. I had it a while back, and I unhauled the book because I wasn't crazy about it, but it was book 1 in a trilogy. So I checked out book 2 from the library and really enjoyed it, much more so than book 1. And then I read book 3, which I actually happened to own. I don't know how that came into being, but I loved it. And after reading book 3, I realized this is definitely a trilogy that I'm going to revisit and wanted to collect book 1 and 2 for later reads. So I found this for $1 at the bookstore and I picked it up. And it is called Illuminae by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. Yeah, I wasn't crazy about it. The only reason I really wasn't crazy about this book was because I really didn't like the artificial intelligence system Aiden. It was kind of hard to read. The lack of empathy and emotion. I mean, I know it's an AI system, but it was a little tricky to get my head around. But I really enjoyed book 2 and loved book 3. And I think on my reread of this one, I can get over Aiden because I know, what it's going to be about. Like, I'm not going to be completely taken off guard, so I can kind of prepare myself. 5 books left, you guys. So I went into Kroger recently and I was looking for a book. I was going to treat myself to a certain type of book. Just one, though. And yeah, that didn't happen. I walked out with 5. But I've had my eye on these first 2 forever. The first one is called Mr. Mercedes by Stephen King. I have only read 11/22/63 by Stephen King, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a little wordier than it needed to be, but overall I had a good time reading it, and I loved JFK and loved conspiracy theories about that. So that book was, I felt, written for me. This book I wanted to try because, like I said, I have been eyeing it and thought, why not? Let's go. Maybe I can get into some more Stephen King books. So it says on the back, the stolen Mercedes emerges from the pre-dawn fog and plows through a crowd of men and women on a line for a job fair in a distressed American city. Then the lone driver backs up, charges again, and speeds off, leaving 8 dead and more wounded. The case goes unsolved, and retired detective Bill Hodges is out of hope when he gets a letter from a man who loved the feel of death under the Mercedes' wheels. Brady Hartsfield wants that rush again, but this time he's going big, with an attack that would take down thousands, unless Hodges and 2 unusual allies he picks up along the way can throw a wrench into Hartsfield's diabolical plans. Sounds really good. Obviously, there's no mystery because they just totally gave away the whodunit right on the back there. It's Brady. Oh, yep, okay. And then I picked up Year One by Nora Roberts. This is Nora Roberts' first novel into the genre of fantasy, and I've heard amazing things about it. Basically, it is like a post-apocalyptic fantasy book. We shall see. And then the last 3 books I got for a very specific reason. I wanted a pick-me-up. And Christmas books, Christmas movies, Christmas anything gives me a pick-me-up. I like stupid, sappy, cliched stuff. Only around the holidays though, because I mean, if I tried it in April, I don't think it would work that well. But just for some reason around the holidays, it makes me feel cozy and I get a stupid grin on my face when I'm reading these books or watching these movies. Guys, don't judge me. Don't judge me. I'm like an ice queen for like 10 months out of every year. I have one downfall. Actually 2, because, you know, animals would get me every time. But anyway, I picked up 3 Christmas novels, and I'm just going to breeze through the titles really quickly. The first is called Mutts and Mistletoe by Natalie Cox. I feel like it's a no-brainer why I picked this book up, to be honest with you guys. Like, no-brainer at all. Dogs. Done. Although I will never read a sad dog book. Like, I can't do it. I cannot do it. If the dog has a cough, I'm boo-hooing, okay? Next up, it's called Alaskan Holiday. This is by Debbie McComber, and another dog on the cover. She also did one, and they made it into a movie, and I really, really like that movie, where they're on a road trip, and it's the girl that played Ruby in Once Upon a Time, and she's delivering something to someone, and she's on the road trip with the undercover cop, essentially. Really like that book. Hold on. I'm going to find it. It's not 12 Days of Christmas, I don't think. Dashing Through the Snow. That's it. Really enjoyed it. So I hope I enjoyed this one just as much. And then finally, by Annie Rains, it's Snowfall on Cedar Trail. Oh my God, there's another dog. You see, guys, I told you it's bad. I told you. Even though I'm not supposed to be buying books, treating myself every now and then, well, it happens. You gotta treat yourself. You gotta enjoy life. And I actually didn't pay too much for any of these books when you think of the free books I got from the Little Free Library, the steal I got from the library bookstore, the ARCs I received. It all evens out in the end. But that is it. We are done with this book haul. I want to know if you guys have read any of these books or what you have hauled recently. Let me know down in the comments below. And as always, thank you guys so much for taking your time to watch my video. If you liked it, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to become part of the tribe if you have not already. We're getting back on a regular filming schedule, so I will see you on Friday with a Friday Reads video. Bye!